One more question.
Go on.
If these Marines were along the shores of France,
Please.
would you shoot at a French ship like that?
Boat.
They were trigger happy. That's the real.
I'm sorry, I couldn't
realistic
hear
thing.
you.
Well, the simple question which is being asked, I think Mr. Tirelli heard you. Mr. Tirelli, you heard that question from G. Parthasarathy?
Can you repeat the question, please?
The question is being repeated. Mr. Parthasarathy, former Indian diplomat, is asking a question. Ask your question again, please.
You said this, according to the laws of piracy, it is not confined to Somalia and the coast of Oman. If these Marines were on a ship off the coast of France and they shot a fishing vessel, would they shoot the navigator and a sailor? The only people they could see?
Well, sir, there is some provocation in this kind of question. I cannot stay in the head of Marines in that position. I think that we are making a big mistake in the sense that we have not to talk about the merits of the facts. I don't want to enter in the question if the Marines made something good or wrong, if their conduct was correct or not. I think we have to make a very wide analysis on the questions. I think that it will be very, very, very important, the decision of the Italian judge about the international or national water. First of all, we must understand if the facts happen in international or international water. This is the first point. Because from the first point we will decide the rest of the story. I'm not a judge, I'm not a lawyer involved in the case, so I don't want to talk about the merits of the accident. We have to talk about the general surface, the political one and the juridical one. I think so.
Mr. Tirelli, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, welcome into the discussion. Mr. Tirelli, I want the next question to go from senior journalist Dibang to you. The fact is, if your foreign minister and your government was so sure that they did the right thing by whisking away the Marines, I want to know today what brought about a change of heart. Why did you change your position overnight? Dibang, what is your question to our guests in Rome? Go ahead.
Mr. Tirelli, isn't it true that on Tuesday the defense minister and the foreign minister are going to explain to the parliament why they had said on the March 11th that these Marines are not going to go back? Isn't that a serious matter? Isn't it true that the Prime Minister and the President didn't agree with this decision not to send back the Marines? And isn't it true, is there in the Italian press, that these two people were unprofessional? They didn't fire any warning shots, nothing. They just killed these two fishermen. Is there in the Italian press?
Let's say that what we know is that our Prime Minister, in the moment of the decision of 11 March, was in Brussels. And our President, Mr. Napolitano, as you know, has many questions to resolve in this day. So what was emerging is that there was a lack of communication between ministers. That is a very bad
Are you saying that the relationship with India is so trivial that the Prime Minister was away and the President had other pressing matters to think about? And that's how your defense minister and your foreign minister took this terrible decision?
I will say that the Minister of Foreign Affairs took the responsibility of the decision. And of course, according to my opinion, you have to give a response to our parliament. So we know that both the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Defense, we go to the parliament and display. I think that we a good thing to have the resignation of our minister.
Well, I hope
position.
Obviously, they have made such a grievous mistake.
Let me add only one thing, and then I will give to Mr. Tirelli. We can look at the issue in terms of India is the winner Italian is the loser.
Yes, that's
If
true.
you want, we can do like that. But I think now,
No,
with the
justice is
Marines
the winner.
coming back to India,
Justice is the winner.
Mr. Giordana, it is not about who is the winner and the loser. It is simply a question of who is right and who is wrong. The Italians were wrong, the Indians are right. The Italians have understood they were wrong, and that is simply...
In Italy, sorry, sir.
That's why they have given in now. That's
In Italy, we have a saying. In Italy, we have a saying, and that saying it's a popular folk thing. We say in Italy, if you want the reason, I give you the reason. I think it's not question of giving or taking out the reason. The question is to solve the problems. You were talking about the need of a foreign minister to go to the parliament and to report about the situation. I want to remake the same question. Which minister and which parliament? We are in a very different scenario. And I think that the scenario can change in the next weeks. I think in a couple of weeks. So I think that even the Indian audience should have a little passion to see if we can find a diplomatic way.
Absolutely.
And I want to tell you one thing, and it's a very important point of view. Of course, the political Italian position is in favor of India, even because India is one of the the powerful country in that region, and we know very well, and the government know very well, the importance of India, even for the question of borders to Pakistan and for many other reasons, the commercial reason, the position of India onto the ocean. So I think that both countries should make a big effort to find a diplomatic way and the solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
I imagine, because if I was an Indian, I would feel very upset, and I would feel that Italy conned my government and betrayed the trust of a country.
Yeah.
But we have to bypass this moment, because
Mr.
India is a
Tirelli,
very strategic and a very important country in that area.
I agree.
Even our cultures are very close. So
I agree.
I want to invest on the good feeling between India and Italy.
I agree. I completely...
And not to find...
Mr. Tirelli, I just want to say two things to you.
The last thing, we have to find the reason to make the peace, and not reason to fight and struggle on the question.
Absolutely, Mr. Tirelli. I 100% agree with you that India is too powerful a country for Italy to mess around with, but they should have realized that there's an Indian saying, the only thing worse than creating a problem is to say we'll solve a problem after creating the problem. That's an old Indian saying. My question goes to Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Very briefly, my question to you, sir, is this. There is a concern here that the Italian Marines have come back. They will stay in the Italian embassy. As per an agreement that your government has reached with the government of Italy in the last part of 2012, the Italian Marines will go back to Rome the moment they are convicted. Essentially, therefore, they will never be in an Indian jail. They will never really face Indian justice effectively because of a backroom deal that you signed with the Italians while this case was going on. Am I correct?
I think that would be going too far. There are countries with what they call transfer of sentencing treaties. I'm only answering a narrow question, Arnab. These treaties are certainly not executed with a one single incident situation in mind. They can be of huge benefit to India in reverse situations. They would be of benefit to Italians, but this is the way treaties work. And once you enter into a treaty, you wouldn't want to be accusing India of exactly what the Italian ambassador did when he breached an undertaking.
Yeah, but
you simply also cannot breach treaties.
But why
so
was
I think
this,
that it's
why
to
was
question
this,
the very execution of a treaty.
Why was this,
execution of a treaty is a larger issue. It's a policy issue. It's part of the sovereignty of India which allows it to do that.
Sure.
And I think to limit it to a single country, now as somebody pointed out in another program, there are some 130 people languishing from India in Italian prisons. Who knows how many of those may be entitled to and may be able to take advantage of that. So I think let's not take it that far. Secondly, Arnab, I think there is, personally speaking, I don't think we have to believe the Italians as to what made them take the Marines back and then now why they are coming back because of death penalty, etc., etc. I think it's quite clear, and I think it's a fair, reasonable guess, we are not children after all here, that they intended to let them abscond. And now, for whatever reason, they've come back. But the fact that we should not believe the Italian story today doesn't mean that we should also not to some extent applaud the basic fact that they are back. I mean, there is a success of diplomacy. Most importantly, there is a huge success of the majesty of the apex court. Now,
I don't know whether it is the court or diplomacy,
reasons, or the restrictions put on the movement of the Italian ambassador. But the point is,
put by the court, not the government. Restrictions put by the court, not the government.
All right, I said so.
No.
Let's not, look. That's
No,
not
the government's trying to take some credit.
That's not the point. After all, they also went under a court order. Please
sure, they
don't
did.
try to criticize the government when you don't want to criticize the court.
Sure, they did, but after
So
the court, after the additional,
that's I think a plus. We are a very self-critical country. Occasionally, we should be partially self-congratulatory. And last but not the least, I've been hearing in other channels and otherwise on the internet a huge amount of Italian material on the television and elsewhere saying, oh, Italy is a terrible loser, it's a debacle, Italy has lost, India has won. I find it amusing when I turn to India that we are all criticizing ourselves.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. In fact, all that we are doing is telling the Italians you shouldn't have made such a grievous mistake in the first place. But Dr. Singhvi, I won't quarrel on that. As of now, at least the majesty of the court has been maintained. They are back, which is fantastic.
Yes, of course.
Italy has egg on its face. Probably it won't do this again. Gentlemen, I thank you very much for participating in debate number 1 on the Newshour tonight. Thank you.